ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्रीराधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यस्य कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So welcome to the Srimad Bhagavatam thematic series 1 and 2. We have been discussing Srimad Bhagavatam 1:1:1. We have discussed up till now Srila Prabhupada's commentary on the first verse, and then we began the discussion on Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, before he begins the 5 explanation, there are the Mangalacharan verses that we discussed in one class. And then yesterday we began the explanation of the first verse, the general description of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, where the Bhagavatam is compared to Adhyatma Deepa. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is not only a Rasikacharya, but he's a Tattvacharya, Tattva Sudha is. And in this first explanation, he's explaining how the 6 Vedanta Sutra verses are explained in this one verse, Srimad Bhagavatam 1:1:1. Yesterday we went through that discussion. I will just briefly recap and then we will continue our discussion. So we saw that Srimad Bhagavatam 1:1:1 has been spoken, elaborately, only this one verse by many acharyas. And then we saw based on the Tatastha and Swarupalakshan, Srila Prabhupada's analysis, Sridhar Swami, Jiva Goswami, Srinath Chakravarti Thakur, Baldev Vidyabhushan, and then based on the Anubandha Chatustaya, the four things which are uh, there in a scripture. There is the Vishaya, there is the Sambandha, there is the Adhikar, and the Prayojan. So how these five explanations fit in that? Yesterday we started that. And then the first verse. There is a general description of Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we discussed 111, Atato Brahma Jigyasa. The parallel is Satyam Param Dhimai. Let us meditate upon the Supreme Lord. Because meditation alone leads to inquiry. So Atato Brahma Jigyasa. And Janmadhiyasyata is Janmadhiyasyata. Shastra Unitvat, scripture is the source of knowledge. Srimad Bhagavatam is the son among all the scriptures. It is Chakravarti Samrat. It is Nirnayaka Shastra. And Vishnu Chakra Thakur had given a metaphor in part of the Mangalacharan. And Tattu Samanvayat, by Anvaya and Vetirek, it is reconciled. So Anvaya and Vetirek, yesterday we went through the three different explanations of Anvaya and Vetirek. We mentioned how a commentary should have Padacheda, Padahata Ukti, Vigravakya, Yojana, Apekshasya, Samadhanam, Vyakhyanam, Panchalakshanam. Padacheda means breaking the verse where because there are sandhi, we break it. And then Artha, what is the Artha? And going to the root of the meanings, Vigravakya. And then Apeksha is refuting the Purva Paksha, the other arguments, and establishing the Siddhanta of the Shastra. We will be today starting with this Apekshasya. We will discuss how Vishnu Chakra Thakur does the Apeksha Samadhanam. And we saw, meditation leads to inquiry. And then Janmadaya we saw. And then the third one, this 113 Shastra unit, but there is no detailed explanation, but it is given through that metaphor which we saw the other day of the night watchman, this metaphor. So that is Shastra Unitvat. And then there is Tattu Samanvayat. By Anvaya and Vetirek, it is reconciled. So how the Lord is the first meaning is the Lord is the Upadan and the Nimikt Karan, the analogy of the pot we saw. Time is not to be meditated upon because ultimately the potter's wheel is moving and there is time factor, but without the potter, the ingredients cannot come together and the pot also cannot, come into being. So ultimately, the Lord is the Upadan and the Nimikta Karan. This is one meaning. And then we saw Anvaya means inclusion and exclusion, how he enters into everything. And the third meaning was that sequence, in the creation, maintenance, and destruction, how he enters as the final agent. He's the final agent for the creation, final agent for the destruction as Shiva. So at all the phases, in all the sequence, how the Lord is present in the creation. So this is the third meaning. This is where we stopped. And the Lord is different and non-different from his Maya Shakti. This is Anvaya and Vetirek. We saw this yesterday. Now, Apekshasya Samadhanam. This is where we are going to begin our today's class. Apekshasya Samadhanam. So, Vishwanath Chakra Thakur, actually the Acharyas, how they write commentaries sometimes is they themselves pose the opponent's arguments. and they themselves give the reply. And by doing so, they logically connect one verse to another verse, and they establish the flow and the explanation of the meaning of the verse also. So this is what is the expertise of the acharyas. And Prabhupada, if you read his Bhaktivedanta purports, many times Prabhupada puts this question. In his commentary, he puts a question and then he himself replies. So Prabhupada also follows this unique style in a very unique way in his Bhaktivedanta purports. So we can see that here also uh, Vishwanath Chakra Thakur does that. He does that. So the first thing is, Purva Paksha, should one meditate on time, which causes creation, maintenance, and destruction. And we can see uh, because of Kala, there is creation at a certain time, and then there is maintenance. And with the passage of Kala, time, there is destruction. So one should meditate on time, not one should not meditate on Krishna, the absolute truth, but on time, Kal Shakti. So this is refuted. No, the Lord is the cause because he is the material and efficient cause. Anvayad itarascha. So the first meaning of Anvaya and Itara, this is where this argument is refuted. Anvaya, Itara, Anvaya and its opposite. By positive connotation, something is established, that is Anvaya. By negative connotation, something is established, that is called as Vyatirek. So we have already discussed the spot analogy. And the Lord is in the law of causality, he is the cause and effect. So the Lord in relation to the universe is like the earth, which is the material cause, is inherent in the pot, and the pot, which is the effect, is inherent in the material cause, the earth. So ultimately, the potter's wheel is the chakra, kala. It is the indirect cause, but it cannot cause the making of the pot. Ultimately, the potter has to be there. So in that sense, one should not meditate on time, one should meditate on the Lord. And he gives a proof, praman, from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Uddhavita. Prakritiryasupadanam adhara purusha paraha sato bhivanjanak kalo brahma tat tritiyam aham. Prakriti is the material cause. The Purusha is the foundational cause. Adhara Purusha Para. Time, the indirect cause, is agitator of Prakriti. Sato Abhivanjana Kalo. I am all three. Krishna is Prakriti, Krishna is the foundational cause, and Krishna is also time. Kalosmi Aham. Krishna in the Gita also says that. So this is the Praman that one should not meditate on time, but one should meditate on the Lord. So this is the first Purva Paksha, which is refuted by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Okay. I will discuss all the Purva Pakshas one after another. And if anyone has any questions, one can raise their hand to ask. Next, the next Purva Paksha is Prakriti is the material cause of this universe. It is the Upadan Karan. He says no. It is not so because Prakriti is unconscious and it cannot alone be the Upadan Karan. So this is like saying that the mother is the cause of the birth of the child. So no, mother alone cannot be the cause because until the father impregnates uh, the wife, then the child cannot take birth. So this is also refuted. And even in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna refutes this. Now, my question to all of you here in the audience is, which verse in the Gita Krishna, refutes that Prakriti itself is not the Padan Karan, I am the cause. Anyone knows? Raise your hands. Okay, Sunita Mataji. Yes.
Aham bijam pradapita.
Yes, excellent. Very nice answer. In the 14th chapter or 13th chapter? 14th chapter it is. सर्वयोनिषु कौन्तेय मूर्तयन्त संभवन्ति या तासां ब्रह्म महद्योनिर aham bija pradapita. And one verse before this is more apt. Mama yonir mahad brahma tasmin garbham dadamya aham. I am pregnant. Sambhava sarva bhutanam tato bhavati bharata. So both these verses together are the praman. But definitely tasmin garbham dadamya aham. I impregnate this material nature. I impregnate in this womb of the yoni. The yoni is the striling, and there is the yoni and the linga. The linga is the purusha. So tasmin garbham dadamya aham. In the form of Shambhu, the union of Shambhu and Durga uh, forms this whole material universe. And all the jivas are impregnated. So this is the praman. Now, Jiva Goswami, Vishwanath Chakravarti gives praman. Yah sarvagya sarvavit. He who is omniscient knows all. So Prakriti is unconscious, and the Lord is being unconscious. It cannot be alone upadan. The Lord is conscious. He's sarvagya, sarvavit. He knows everything. And then Sa Ikshate Lokan, he glanced over the worlds and then created. So his glance was that Mama Yoni Mahat Brahma Tasmin Garbham. So the Lord, just by his glance, he impregnates his material nature. And then the third Praman, Tad Ikshate Bahusyam Praja Yeya. He glanced and said, let me be many. Let me create progeny. Chandogya Upanishads. This is from the Aitri Upanishads. This is from the Manduk Upanishads. Vishnu Chandra Thakur is giving all quotations from the Shruti and especially from the Upanishads, because Pramana Madhe Shruti Pramana Pradhan. Among the Pramanas, if you give a Praman from the Shruti, that is considered highest. And among the Shrutis, if you give Praman from the Upanishads, that's considered still highest. So he's giving, from the Upanishads. And then he quotes the same from the Bhagavatam, Prakriti Padhanam Adara Purusha Param. So Prakriti alone is the material cause of this Padan Karan. This is also refuted. Okay. Now I'm just directly going to Vishnu Chakra Thakur's commentary and explaining. But if the Supreme Lord is said to be the material cause of the universe, he should be devoid of change. Therefore, should one not say that the Supreme Lord is the efficient and Prakriti is the material cause? So this is the argument he put forth, the Purva Paksha. This is what Vishwanath Chakravarti does, and here is answering, no, it is not so. The Shruti says, yes, Sarvagya, Sarvavit, which I have already quoted. Then Mandukya Upanishads, Sa Ikshate Lokan, Aitri Upanishads, Tad Ikshate Bhausyam, Praja Yeya. And then these verses indicate that only a conscious entity is the cause of the universe, and thus the Lord is both the material cause and the efficient cause of the universe. So Prabhupada, based on this whole philosophy, the Bhaktivedanta Trust published a book. Anyone knows the book name? Anyone knows the book name? Everyone is silent. What happened? What is the book name? It's based on a conversation with a scientist. I gave you a lot of hint. Virendra Yadav Prabhuji, which is the book name?
Prabhu, is it perfect question, perfect answer?
No, no way. Subrat Prabhuji, yes. Yes, Prabhuji. I am not able to hear anything from your side. Haribol? Yes, Tukaram Prabhuji. Tukaram
Is
Prabhuji,
it is it perfect questions, perfect answers, Prabhu?
no, I have already. Yes, Subrit Prabhu has answered. Life comes from life.
Ah, yes.
Life comes from life. So, uh, if Prakriti is the cause of Upadan Karan is the cause, it's like saying this mobile, created this universe. Matter cannot create on its own, it's unconscious. So Prakriti is a Shakti of the Lord, and the Shakti and the possessor of Shakti are non-different. The Lord is the material cause through Prakriti. But the Lord remains unchanged in spite of being the material cause, because by his very nature, he transcends Prakriti. So although the Lord, uh, unites with the Maya Shakti, and there is transformation happening in the Maya Shakti, the whole creation, but he doesn't undergo transformation because he transcends Prakriti. Namase, Namasya Purusha Twadhyam Ishvara Prakritim Param. This is Kunti Marani. Or Ishvara Prakriti Param. Transcend Prakriti. This is explained by the Lord himself. And the same verse is quoted from the Uddhav Gita. Okay. Now, next. Scriptures does not state that Prakriti is the material clause independently. The Lord, conscious of all things, Abhigya, is alone the cause of the universe by his independence, Swarat. Unconscious Prakriti is not the cause. Thus, the verse says that the Lord is fully conscious, Abhigya, concerning all matters relating to the creation and destruction of all real objects, Artheshu. This statement illustrates the meaning of Ikshater na Shabdam. Being described in the scriptures, the Lord is not beyond the description of the words, though he remains beyond the material. So Vedanta Sutra 115 is through Abhigya and Swarat is established. There is a parallel between the Srimad Bhagavatam verse and the Vedanta Sutra 1115. Now, the third Purva Paksha, Lord cannot be proved by authoritative words. And this was there, if you remember, Ikshate na Shabdam, being described in the scriptures, Lord is not beyond the description of the words. Arteshu Abhigna. So Brahman is fully conscious concerning all matters. So we had discussed this. So now in Vishwanath Chakra Thakur's commentary, we are seeing the same thing. Now the next refutation is, as I mentioned, okay, where is it? Yeah, Lord cannot be proved by authoritative words. No, Brahman is not indescribable because the Shruti said that the conscious Lord is the cause. And again, as Praman, Tad ikshate bhausyam prajayeya. Chandogya Upanishad. Sad eva saumedam agra asit. O gentle one, the eternal Lord existed before this universe. Atma va idam Eka evagre asi. The Lord existed before this universe. Chandogya Upanishad. Tasmad va etasmad atmana akasha sambhuta. From the Lord arose ether. Taittiriya Upanishads. Yato va imani bhutani jayante. From the Lord all creatures arise. Taittiriya Upanishads. And then, and the Smriti. This is not Bhagavad Gita because there's no verse in the Bhagavad Gita like this. Yata sarvani bhutani bhavatya adi yugagame yasmin cha pralayam yanti punar eva yuga shaya. From the Lord, all creatures arise at the beginning of the first yuga, and in him they merge at the time of universal devastation. So the Lord can be proved by the authoritative words of the Shastra. Right? It's not that the Lord cannot be proved. So I'm just paraphrasing the same thing from Vishwanath Chakra Thakur's commentary. The meaning of the sutra is this. The meaning of the sutra, I mean this sutra. This sutra. Ikshater na shabdam. This sutra. The meaning of the sutra is this. The Brahman which was discussed is the cause of the universe. Why? Because of seeing, because of specialized conclusions arising from seeing, or in other words, from hearing about the Lord in the statements of the Shruti, we describe him as the cause of the universe. So seeing, darshan is seeing. By hearing the Shastra darshan and understanding the conclusions where the Lord is mentioned, that he creates this universe and all these. Therefore Brahman is not indescribable. It is not the Lord cannot be proved by the authoritative words. He can be proved by the scriptures. And this same quotations are there. Tadikshate bhausyam tadeva saumya adyam agrasi. And then this is the Smriti quotation. Yata sarvani bhutani bhavatya adi yugagame yasmin cha pralayam yanti punareva yugakshaya. I don't know now which verse, from where this Smriti is quoted. Vishwanath Chakra Thakur doesn't give the reference, but we'll try to find out. But there is a similar verse in the Bhagavad Gita where Krishna says that, at the beginning of the Yuga, beginning of the millennium of Brahma, I create this universe, and then at the end of Brahma's life, I destroy this universe. Everything enters back to me. So where in the Bhagavad Gita does Krishna say this? Which is the verse? You have to give either a quotation or a reference to me. Anyone knows? Think about it. Where does Krishna say this? At the beginning of the millennium, I give bodies to the jiva, or these universes are created, and at the end of Brahma's millennium, everything is destroyed, everything enters back into my nature. And this process or cycle repeats like this. Who will give me a reference? We'll give you a special gift for that. Anyone? Or you want a more hint? I can mention it is in the 9th chapter of the Gita. Bhutva bhutva praliyate. Yes, that is the reference. This is 9.7. Sarva bhutani kaunteya prakritim yanti mamakam kalpakshaya punastani kalpado vishrujam aham. All living entities, O son of Kunti, Prakriti, Yanti, enter into my nature, Kalpashaya, at the end of the millennium. Puna, again, Tani, all those, Kalpado, at the beginning of the millennium, I create. So this is from the Mahavishnu point of view. And Prakritim Swam Avashtabhya Vishrabhyami Puna Puna Bhuta Gramam Imam Krishnam Avashe Prakriti Vashat. But the verse quoted by Subrat Prabhu is there in the 7th chapter, I think. 7th chapter. Where is it? Yeah, 8th chapter it is. 8th chapter. And 8th chapter. Avyakta Vyakti Sarva Pravantyagarame Ratragama Prilnite Tatreva Samyaka. And then Bhutagramam Sa Evamem Bhutva Bhutva Prilite Ratragama Avashapartha Prabhavatte Ahar Agame. So here, again and again, when Brahma's day arrives, all living entities come into being. And with the arrival of Brahma's night, they are helplessly annihilated. So this is based on, Brahma's day and night in the secondary creation, how the living entities. But in the 9th chapter, it is based on the primary creation, because ultimately the Lord is the cause of all causes. So this is the right reference. I hope devotees are clear about this. Okay. So this is a Shruti verse, and you will find in the Bhagavad Gita this similar verse, which is 9.7. Okay, the next Purva Paksha. Mahatattva and other elements had not arisen so that he could have a body which would perform actions. To perform actions of creation, you need a body, but Mahatattva and all the elements were not created only. The repetition is no, the Lord is independent, Swarat. He controls everything himself, Swayam Rajate, through his spiritual Swarupa. The Lord has a spiritual body. The Lord existed before the creation. And then the Praman is from the Shetashar Upanishad. So let us see this. Okay. One may object that the Mahatattva and other elements had not arisen so that he could have a body which could perform actions. Therefore, the verse says that the Lord is independent, Swarat. He controls everything by himself, Swayam Rajate iti Swarat, through his spiritual Swarupa, non-different from himself. So the Lord has a spiritual Swarupa. The Lord has a spiritual body. I existed before this creation, and it is I alone who exist during the creation, and I exist at the end of this creation also. When the creation is annihilated, I still continue to exist. So that person who existed before this creation, because the creation had not yet started, and Mahatattva and all these elements, Bhumi, Rapo, Analo, these earth, water, fire. So then it naturally, logically concludes that that person doesn't have a material body. He has a spiritual body. Thus the Shrutis say, Na tasya karanam karyam karanam cha vidyate swabhaviki jnana bala kriyacha. In the Lord, there is no material cause and effect. He has his own inherent knowledge, strength, and action. Shvetashara Upanishad. So this is the Praman given to establish this point. Okay, the 5th Purva Pavaksha. Satyam Param refers to Lord Brahma. Meditate on Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma has independent powers. For in the Shruti it is said, Hiranyagarbham Samavartatagre Bhutasya Jata Patir Eka Asit. Brahma was born before other creatures. He alone existed. Mahanarayana Upanishad 6. Therefore, Brahma should be the object of worship. So Satyam Param Dhimai may refer to Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma alone existed before all other creatures. So therefore we should meditate. Our object of worship is not Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. It is Brahma. It is refuted here. It is the Lord Satyam Param who revealed Tene, the Vedas, Brahma, knowledge of himself to Brahma Adi Kave. Thus Brahma is dependent on the Lord. So the Praman is Tene Brahma Hridaya Ya Adi Kavaye. So this is the same thing in the commentary I have put forth. Satyam Param Adi Kavaye. Thus Brahma is dependent on the Lord. Okay, now I'll hold on here. Any questions up till now? Any questions, any clarifications? I hope you are able to understand the Purva Paksha, Apekshasya, and the all possible, refutations are negated, and the Uttar Paksha is given, and the Siddhanta is established by Jiva Goswami, Vishwanath Thakur. Sorry. So, any questions, any clarifications up till now? Okay. So now let's take film. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kave. Brahma was, the Lord gave knowledge to Brahma. This was the answer. Further in that argument, he goes one step ahead in the logical analysis. It is well known that Brahma did not study the Vedas from anyone. That is true. He received it in his mind, Hridaya. And this is stated in the Bhagavatam. So this is the Praman in the second canto will come. The meaning of the Gayatri Mantra was revealed to him by that method. It is said in the Matsya Purana also. So let's go into it. Vishwanath Thakur in his commentary. One may object that it is well known that Brahma did not study the Vedas from anyone. That is true. He received it in his mind. This is stated in the Bhagavatam. Prachoditayena pura saraswati vitanvatajasya satim smritim hridi swalakshana pradurbhut ilasyata saime rishinam rishabha prasidatam. This is the prayer offered by Sukdev Goswami before answering the questions of Parikshit Maharaj. May the Lord, the best of the sages, Sir Rishinam Rishabha, best of the sages, be pleased with me. May prasidatam, inspired by him, prachodita yena, at the beginning of the Kalpa, Pura, Saraswati, whose aim is to reveal Krishna, Swalakshana Pradurbhuta, appeared from the mount, Kilasyata, Brahma, appeared from the mouth of Brahma and revealed proper memory to carry out creation in his heart. Vitanvata jasya satim smritim ridhi. So Divya Saraswati appeared in the mouth of Brahma, and this Divya Saraswati reveals Krishna, and the Brahma Samhita is there where Krishna through his flute initiated Brahma, and then Brahma saw Golok Vrindavan, and there is a glorification of Golok Vrindavan. So it is Saraswati who revealed, who appeared, and she is Divya Saraswati. So there are two Saraswatis. The Divya Saraswati is the spiritual counterpart, and there's a material counterpart in the material world who is also Saraswati, who gives Vidya. Many pray for Vidya, but that is Aparavidya. Aparavidya refers to the Vedic knowledge, but Paravidya refers to pure devotion, that is transcendental knowledge. The Aparavidya is also, the Karma Kanda portion of the Vedas. And then there is lower Vidya in the form of material knowledge also. So Divya Saraswati revealed this. As well, there's another Praman. Su Drishtam Ridhi me Tadeva. Why did I not see him in my heart at that time? So this is from the 10th canto, 14th chapter, verse 15. The Lord Brahma could not realize this is that my Lord sitting with the cowherd friends, and he's taking his breakfast, his lunch, and he could not. Why didn't my Lord? Why did in my heart I did not realize this? The meaning of the Gayatri Yantra was revealed to him by that method. It is said in the Matsya Puran. So the Matsya Puran is the quotation. Yattadikritya Gayatrim Varnete Dharma Vissara Vritrasura Vatopedam Tad Bhagavatam Ishyate. He spoke the Bhagavatam, Bhagavatam Ishyate, where the killing of the Vritrasura is described. Vritrasura Vatopedam Tad. And where after starting with Gayatra, Yatra Adikrit Gayatrim, Dharma is elaborately described. Varnete Dharma Vistara. So this is a praman that the meaning of the Gayatri Mantra was revealed to him. This is the Matsya Puran quotation. And then in another Paran, Granto Ashtadasha Sahastro Dwadasha Skanda Samanvita Hiranyagarbha, Hayagriva Brahma Vidya Yatra Vrita Vadastata Gayatrya Cha Samarambas Tadvai Bhagavatam Vidhu. The Bhagavatam is understood to be that work, Tadvai Bhagavatam Vidhu, starting with Gayatri Mantra, Gayatrya Cha Samarambas, in which there are 18,000 verses and 12 volumes. Granto Ashtadasha Sahastro Dvajasa Skanda Samanvita, and in which the spiritual knowledge spoken by Hayagriv Brahma Vidya Yatra, and the killing of Vrita are described. So these two are the quotations of how the Gayatri Mantra was revealed to Brahma. Okay. The seventh Purva Paksha. Now again, the logical analysis goes still for deeper with Brahma. First, one should meditate on Brahma? No. Because the Lord revealed Brahma knowledge. Tene Brahma Radaya Adikave. Next, maybe Brahma did not learn the Vedas from anyone. No, it was revealed to him in the heart by Saraswati, Divya Saraswati. Now, the third level, he goes to the logical analysis. Perhaps Brahma realized the truth of the Vedas on his own, from within the mind, just as a person sometimes gets a realization during sleep. And this is refuted. No, Brahma independently does not have the power to realize this knowledge. Why? Even the greatly learned are bewildered about this. Muyanti yat suraya. So this is already there. And this particular refutation explains the sutra, Etena netro anupapatyate. A jiva is not described in the mantra Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. This is refuted because Shankaracharya, uses this sutra or this Upanishadic verse to explain that this refers to the jiva, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Because such an interpretation of the mantra is illogical. It is not the jiva who is Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahman. The Brahma here is referring to the absolute truth. Because the jiva is not full of knowledge. It's only the Lord. Shvetashwar Upanishad's quotation also was given. The jivas are what? Muyanti at Surya. If Brahma, the topmost jiva in this universe, the most pious jiva, can be bewildered, then what about the other jivas? So they are all bewildered. So the jiva is not described in this mantra. It is the absolute truth, Brahman, who is described. So this is how this sutra is also reconciled in this refutation. I hope it is clear. Now, the next Purva Paksha. When we talk about meditation, it indicates that we meditate on an object that has form. Forms are made of the three gunas of matter and must be therefore temporary. So, the Supreme Lord should have a material form. Now, this is refuted. This is like reversal of Tejo Vare Mridam Vinimayo Yatra Trisargo Mrisham. And the Praman is Gopal Tapani Upanishads. So let's go into this. No, okay, it's here only. So it is like reversal of one thing appearing as another, Vinimaya. Just like light may appear to be water and water may appear to be earth, or earth in forms like glass may appear to be like water to an ignorant person. In this way, one falsely, Mrisha, thinks that the perfect spiritual form of the Lord to be made of the three gunas, three sarga. And where in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna mentions that even sometimes the so-called spiritualists think that I am made of, matter. Which verse does Krishna say that? Anyone knows? Raise your hands. And the Praman also is there in that verse. It is refuted also in that verse. Krishna speaks that in this verse. So-called spiritualists also think that my body is made of three gunas, but my body is transcendental. He answers that also. Which is the verse? Anyone? Who will answer this? Tirthpad Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, no idea.
Okay, we will give you some idea. It is there in the 9th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Now we have some idea. People think that I'm also like human being made of matter. Where does Krishna say that? Jagdishwar Prabhuji. Jagdishwar Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Actually, I did not hear the actually for that minute actually.
You are hearing the class now, but
Yes, I am hearing the class.
okay, I was mentioning that ignorant people and even so-called spiritualists think that Krishna, has a human body like us. Where in the Gita does Krishna say that? And he refutes that also in that verse. Where does he say that?
I'm not. I got it, but not recollecting actually that verse.
You can paraphrase the verse. You need not tell the verse. Or you can tell the verse number.
Less intelligent not able to recollect.
Okay. Anil Prabhuji. Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I think this is Avjananti Mamudha Manushi
Yes.
Tanumashritam.
Avjananti Mamuda Manushim Tanumashritam. Param Bhavam. Ajanant. Mama Bhuta. Param Bhavam. They don't know that my Param Bhavam, the spiritual nature, transcendental nature. They don't know my transcendental nature. So right in this verse, these are these Mudas who think that I have a human form. So this is the Purva Paksha, and this is replied in the verse itself in the Bhagavatam. And the Praman here is given Gopal Tapani Upanishads. Tam ekam govindam Satchidananda Vigram Vrindavanam Sura Uruha Talasinam. I saw that one form of Govinda, a form of eternity, knowledge, and bliss, seated at the base of the desire tree in Vrindavan. So the Lord has a spiritual form which is Satchidananda. So that is refuted now in the Purva 8. Now, Vishnu Chakra Thakur gives praman after praman to prove this. From the Rama Tapani Upanishads, Ardhamatratmako Ramo Brahmanandeka Vigraha. Ram is the half syllable and form of spiritual bliss. From the Nrsimha Tapani Upanishads, it says, the form of Nrsimha is the Supreme Brahman, the Purusha, the knowledge of truth. Nir Kesari Vigram Parabrahmam Purusham. Then the Lord has a form full of faultless qualities. Nirdosha Purna Guna Vigra, which is independent. He is devoid of the qualities of lifeless material bodies. Atma Tantro Nishchetana Atmaka Sharira Guneshcha Hina. All the parts of his body, such as hands, feet, head, and belly, are bliss alone. Ananda Matra Kara Pada Mukha Dharadhi Cha. This is the Dhyana Bindu Upanishads. Krishna has a form of eternity, knowledge, and bliss, which gives joy to the people of Vraj. Brahmanda Purana. Nanda Vraja Jananandi Satchidananda Vigraha. Next, Praman after Praman. The bodies of the Lord are all eternal. Sarve Nitya Shashvata Cha Deha Tasya Paratmana Hanupadana Rahita Naiva Prakriti Ja Kvachit. Devoid of faults, they are never the product of matter. This is from Mahavara Puran. Then, my dear Lord, neither I nor anyone else can estimate the potency of this transcendental body of yours. Asyapi Deva Bapushu Mad Anugrahasya Sveche Mayasya Na Tu Bhuta Mayasya Kopi. Which has shown such mercy to me, and which appears just to fulfill the desires of your pure devotees. Although my mind is completely withdrawn from material affairs, I cannot understand your personal form. Neshe mahi tva avasitam manasantarena. How then could I possibly understand the happiness you experience within your sakshat tavayeva kim utatma sukanu bhutaya. This is Brahma praying in the prayers of Brahma after the Brahma Vimohan Leela. Then further Praman, being absolute, beyond relativity, he is free from the distinction between cause and effect. Although he is the cause and effect of everything, that unmanifested person who is beyond the perception of the senses had now appeared as a human child, and Mother Yashoda, considering him her own ordinary child, bound him to the wooden mortar with the rope. This is in the Damodar Leela. Tam Matva Atmacham Avyaktam Martyalingam Adokshajam Gopi ko akule dhamna babadda prakritim yatha. Then again from the Brahma's prayers. Therefore, this entire universe, which is just like a dream, is by nature unreal, nevertheless appears real. Tasmad idam jagat ashesham asat swarupam swapnabhyam asta dishanam puro dukkha dukkham. And thus it covers one's consciousness and assails one with repeated miseries. This universe appears real because it is manifested by the potency of the illusion emanating from you. Tvaya eva nitya sukha bodha tanav ananta mayat udyat api yat sad iva abhati, whose unlimited transcendental forms are full of eternal happiness and knowledge. Nitya Sukha Bodha Tanav Anante. So this is from the 10th canto. Then further Praman. Then in Satyuga, the lotus-eyed Supreme Personality of Godhead, being pleased, showed himself to that Kardam Muni and displayed his transcendental form, which can be understood only through the Vedas. Tavat Prasanno Bhagavan Pushkaraksha Krite Yuge Darshayam Asatam Shatya Shabdham Brahma Dadyat Vapu. Then from the 10th canto again, Satya Jnanananta Ananda Matreka Rasamurtaye Asprishta Bhuri Mahatmyapi Hi Upanishad Drisham. The Vishnu Murtis all had eternal, unlimited forms, full of knowledge and bliss, and existing beyond the influence of time. Their great glory was not even to be touched by the Gyanis engaged in the study of Upanishads. So, in what context this verse is spoken? Anyone knows? Anyone knows in what context this verse is spoken? This is in the Brahma Vihaman Leela, when all the gopas and the gopas, the calves, which were the absolute truth, because Brahma had stolen them, they all showed the Vishnu Murtis. So those Vishnu Murtis are being described, which are unlimited and they are eternal. Now, further Praman. Even the devotees in Shwetadeep and Vaikuntha have forms. These forms are not material, since the word Atendriya is used. Narayani says, Atendriya Anahara Anispannahush Sugandina Ekantinaste Purushaha Shwetadeepa Nivasina. The inhabitants living in Shwetadeepa Nivasina, devoted completely to the Lord, Ekantinaste Purusha, to the Lord, are all fragrant, Sugandhina, beyond the material senses, Atendriya, without any need for material food and without material movement. This is from the Mahabharata, the Narayani section of the Mahabharata. And then, this is the last quotation from the 7th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Dehindresyasu Hinana Vaikunta Puravasinam Deha Sambandha Sambandham Etad Akhyattum Arhasi. The body of the inhabitants of Vaikunta are completely spiritual, having nothing to do with material body, senses, and life air. Therefore, kindly explain how associates of Lord were cursed to descend in material bodies like ordinary persons. So this is Yudhishthira Maharaj's question to Narad Muni, that in the spiritual world, there are spiritual bodies. So how in these spiritual bodies, these Jay and Vijay were cursed and they took material bodies. Once you have a spiritual body, there's no question of again taking a material body. So that was his argument there. Now, further from the commentary of Vishnu Chakravarti, what doubt can there be that their bodies are not non-material, they are spiritual? Some persons argue with all these conclusions. In answer to this, the following is said. Through the power of realization of the Lord fixed in the devotee's heart by the Sarup Shakti, or through the Lord's form shining with power and sweetness increasing at every moment, Dhamna, which belongs only to the Lord and which is thus extraordinary, Svena, throughout all the 3 phases of time, Sada, all false arguments about the Lord are nirasta, negated. They are nirasta, they are negated. This is indicated in Tarko Apratishtat. Argumentations are not accepted concerning the Lord because it is insubstantiable. So this is another Vedanta Sutra, Tarko Pratishtat. So just by argument, you cannot understand the transcendental, subject matters. Only by coming in touch with the Acharya and hearing from him, having faith in him, then Atato Brahma Jigyasa awakens. Then one can practice spiritual life. Vedanta Sutra 2.1.11. Yam evesha vrunute tena labhyas tasseva atma vi vrunite tanum swam. The Lord reveals his form to that person whom he chooses. Then Mandukya Upanishads. The use of the word swam to modify tanum indicates that the body of the Lord arises from his Swarupa Shakti. That his mind and eyes are not material is also understood from the statements Bahusyam, let me become many, and Saikshate, he plans. Since these senses are employed before the agitation of Prakriti, which produces material mind and senses. He desired to become many. So that desire of the mind is a spiritual mind. as well as Parasha Shaktir Vivide Shruyate Swabhaviki Jnana Bala Kriyacha, indicates that his knowledge, strength, and actions arise from his own nature, Swabhaviki, not from Prakriti. And then Vishwanath Chakravarti quotes, Achintya kalo hi e bhava na tam starkena yojet. Prakriti bhi param yakcha tad achintyasya lakshanam. One cannot use material reasoning, na tam starkena yojete, on those things which are inconceivable. Achintya kalo hi bhava. Inconceivable refers to those things, tad achintyasya, existing beyond Prakriti. Prakritibhya param yancha. So the Lord's form is beyond Prakriti, and you cannot use material logic to understand. You have to accept the inconceivable aspect. Achintya kalohi bhava. The potential mood indicates that material arguments are forbidden to be used against the Lord. It is just as strong as a prohibition. Paradhara na gachet. One should not have sex with other men's wives. If the demons who eagerly take up arrows of logic aimed at the Lord fall to hell, let them fall there. Enough of their discussions. Then, all these quotations are there. We have already gone through these quotations. So this quotation is also from the what doubt can there be that their bodies are, and we've gone through this. So this is the last now. Okay, this also we went through. Okay, so we have gone through this quotation also. Achintya Kaloi Bhavas. Okay. Now we have finished the explanation of the first explanation of Vishwanath Chakravarti. I am just quoting the Guru Ashtaka, the Falashruti, the 9th verse, which we don't recite when we recite the Samsara Davanal. Srimad Gurur Ashtakam Etad Uchcher Brahme Murate Patati Prayatnat Yastena Vrindavanat Sakshad Sevaiva Labhya Janushu Nanta Eva. That person who very attentively recites this Ashtakam of Sri Gurudev during the Brahma Muhurta is sure to achieve direct service to the lotus feet of Sri Krishna, the very life and soul of Vrindavan, upon attaining his Vastu Siddhi. Vastu Siddhi means Sarup Siddhi, a spiritual body, a pure spiritual form. So this is the glory, and Srila Prabhupada established, in his morning program, the Mangalarati first, the Guru Ashtakam. Because Prabhupada knew just by singing Guru Ashtakam, this is what you can attain. You can attain direct service to the lotus feet of Krishna in a spiritual body. And this Guru Vandanam is actually offered to the Sampradaya Acharya. For us, it is His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. So the second explanation, third and fourth and fifth are quite brief and not so exhaustive as this one, which will require, I think, 2 classes, which we will take up further. Any questions, any clarifications? There's one question, okay. Yes, Anil Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Is there any Purva Paksha related to Lord Shiva? Means like for Brahma, many things are mentioned. So are there any Purva Paksha which are related to Lord Shiva?
Interesting question. Yeah, very interesting question. Firstly, whatever Purva Paksha applies to Brahma will apply to Shiva. That is the first thought which is coming to me. Secondly, usually, Shiva, you have to see that the background noise is there. Usually Shiva is, not related to anything to do with the creation. Brahma is the secondary creator. So in that sense, Shiva is involved with the destruction of the universe. So uh, that's why Brahma, thing is discussed here in the verse. That is why the Purvaksha of Brahma is given. That's what is my little bit understanding with little bit realization. I would like to, ask my seniors and see if they have any further insights on this. But definitely, whatever Purvaksha applies for Brahma, the same will apply for Shiva. And it is easy to conceive that let us meditate on Brahma from whom this universe is, because Brahma is the creator like that. Is it okay, Manay Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions anyone has? Okay, Birendra Yadav Prabhuji, yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandat Pranam. Prabhu, referring this Tene Brahma Hridayadi Kave, we see that Lord has given all knowledge to Brahma. Prabhu, how in Brahma Vimoha?
Your voice is breaking. I got the question. The Lord gave all knowledge to Brahma, and how in the Brahma Vimalila Brahma got bewildered. The Lord gave knowledge to Brahma, what is required for the secondary creation only. But the Lord's Leela, which he performs with his eternal associates, are all under the realm of Yogamaya, under the realm of the Antaranga Shakti. So, with respect to the Bhairanga Shakti secondary creation, he will not get bewildered, but he can get definitely bewildered by the Yogamaya of Krishna, and that's why Brahma got bewildered. I hope it is clear. Yes, Devhuti Kapil Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. So instead of these verses from Vedas and Upanishads, right? Like just with Nyaya, can we establish that God has a form?
No, absolutely no. That has been already refuted from the Achanta Kalohi Bhava. Na tarke na yojet.
Okay. So
Not logic.
existence of God we can prove just with logic.
Only by scriptures.
Only by scriptures.
Shastra is the only Praman source.
Okay.
Yes, Anil Prabhuji.
Krishna Prabhuji, there was one question asked by Yudhishthir in this when you were explaining.
Okay.
You had given that. What was the answer of that question?
Oh, that we'll have to go into the Bhagavatam 7th canto, where is an elaborate discussion on that. And
Okay. Can you just tell me that reference number? I will see.
It is the 7th canto, first chapter. He puts on the question, how Jay and Vijay were eternal associates of the Lord, how is that they took material bodies? Of course, Jay and Vijay, Vishnu Chakatakur explains, did not fall down. Actually, they on their own descended in order to assist the Lord in his Leela, because the Lord wanted to relish Veeras. And the deeper understanding is that their expansions came down here. Their expansions came down here. So nobody falls from Vaikuntha. And that's what, Prabhupada also in the purports explains in his commentary also. You'll have to very carefully study it and have a good insight in that whole discussion in the first chapter. These verses are there. So that's the brief answer also. Okay. Hare Krishna. No further questions on the same topic of the Yudhishthira Maharaj question, because that's a separate discussion altogether. With respect to the Bhagavatam, if you have any questions, then you can ask. Yes, Anil Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, I'm saying just send the PPT for till today's content.
Yes, okay.
Or if you want to say said tomorrow, tomorrow also okay after completing that law.
Yes, yes. Okay. Not a question. Okay, fine. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Anant Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai, Hare Krishna.